Can you hear me? Yeah, you're gonna do that fake. I can't talk any. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So we watched Gigi.
I was going to ask you, how did they pronounce it? Gigi or Gigi?
Well, in French they would do Gigi, but
So what did they do in this movie, though? I was thinking that just before I went on. I went and checked, watched and listened to what they said.
Yeah.
Because I had made my mind up before checking it. And so what do you think they did in the movie? Because I started saying the same thing. I started going Gigi. And I went, wait, did they say Gigi when they called her? Or did they say Gigi?
They say Gigi.
Is that what you think?
That's how I remember it.
Yeah, they did say Gigi.
Yeah, like the only time you wouldn't say Gigi is because you can't pronounce the J or something. So it'd be like Dutch people will say Joldersma or Joldersma if you're from Holland. So it's just a little bit of an accent. But so what'd you think?
I really liked it. I thought it was, eye-opening from the 1900, what that sort of felt and looked like. And I mean, obviously they're the richest of the richest of the richest people. So you don't know what commoner folk are in that time. But the whole Playboy thing, like you wouldn't have assumed if you think back to 1900, would there be men who were Playboys and who didn't want to get married and they just wanted to like fool around with all the girls that they meet? You'd go, no, it was just static life, marriage, death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you forget that, of course, with the Playboys and the aristocrats and the money people of the world, they would just play because that's
yeah. No, I thought I would like it more than I did.
I'd liked it more than I thought I would.
Okay, and I picked it because it was a musical, and I've been listening to a few musicals, and it's like musicals sometimes they just worm their way into my heart, and I just love them. So it's like this is an old-fashioned one, and let's see what it's going to do for me. And I will have to admit, I'm sure it was part of my frame of mind. It was a particularly tough day, and I watched it, but it was like, yeah. So it was, I think that had more to do with me. The thing I won't say I didn't appreciate it, but it's whenever I listen to musicals, it's like, which songs have stood the test of time and that I know about now? So this was made in like 1958. Which songs do I still know after not having seen the movie? And there was only 2 of them. Yeah. And it's like, okay. And the other ones were in no way made me think, oh, I'm going to be singing along to this song. Like, not at all. So like, even like the Thank Heaven for Little Girls, I've heard of that one before. And I remember it well. I've heard that one before. So those are the only ones that I had even as, a semblance of, and the other songs I didn't even like. So it's like, okay, you're supposed to like the songs that they pick.
I never thought I'd like musicals, and I'm liking musicals. Like I'm liking the idea of them, and so when I realized this was a musical, I quite enjoyed it, and I liked when they went into song because it wasn't really song and dance and they pull back and curtains move kind of thing. It was just the repartee.
Yeah.
To me, throwing up French words like that, repartee.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so this I also picked it because I thought it would be a nice little, salute to the French movie that the 2 of them that we just watched. So it's like it's almost connecting those in that way because it has its touch of French and it's set in Paris.
So Leslie Caron played Gigi.
Yep.
And she was born, I just looked now, she's born in 31. I was trying to figure out how old she was because she's playing about a 15-year-old in this, right?
Well, that's the thing. Is she supposed to be 15 or 13? Like it sounded like she was 12 at the very beginning.
At the very beginning,
prancing around.
Who didn't know how to be a lady and
Yeah.
didn't want to be a lady. And it's that moment of a young girl starting to think that that's important. And certainly the adults in the room are saying, you better start figuring out how to be a lady in all aspects if you want to get yourself a man.
Yeah, because that's your job is to get yourself a man.
Exactly.
That's really, and so we don't really have that anymore, but I'm sure that was part of their, I mean, when you listen to Jane Austen stuff, or you read Jane Austen, it's like the sole purpose of a woman is to find a good match, someone that will help elevate you, and that's the ideal. So yeah.
But when I saw her, and I'm going, okay, she's playing a 13, 14, 15-year-old, something around there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going, at times she would like look at the camera or move or whatever, and I'm going, she looks 30. She doesn't look 13.
Yeah.
Whereas what's her name from that last, Judy Garland.
Yeah.
She was young. She looked younger and played it, and I believed it more. Whereas this one, she came out of it, and so she was born in 31, so in 58 she was 27.
Right.
So 27, playing a 15-year-old and doing that extra little skippy jumpy, I can't stop from moving.
Yeah.
My pants kind of.
Yeah, I think that Judy Garland did a better job of playing like Dorothy Gale. I could accept her as a young teenager, and I wasn't quite accepting this Gigi's age, but that's okay. I mean, you suspend,
I was fine with that too, and I liked her character, and I liked her what's his name,
Gaston.
Yeah, Gaston.
That's a great name, because that's what they used in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast, that's right.
Yeah.
And then Maurice Chevalier played the playboy older.
Yeah.
He plays them. So the main idea of the story is there's a rich guy who's an uncle who is a playboy and tries to teach his younger nephew, play with the women. Don't you dare settle down. You just need to play and don't even get caught up. And I'll teach you how to do it right, because you're obviously using your heart too much in it. No, just go ahead, and when it's time to break up, make sure you win in the breakup. Make sure you are victorious. And he doesn't want to play that game. And he's met a few girls, and he's one of them being Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Eva Gabor.
Well, that was Eva Gabor.
Yeah.
And that was fun seeing her at such a young age. And
yes. And I'm waiting for her to say, Oliva.
Yeah.
I thought her accent was pretty good, because I only expected a very thick sort of Austrian sort of accent, but that didn't seem to show up. She seemed to do an okay job of that.
She was believable,
and the costumes were beautiful.
Yeah.
But see, the songs I didn't think were great. I don't know. I did like too that she has a mother that we never see.
I know.
But we hear her from the other room, and we don't even know anything about her father, do we?
I don't think so.
So she lives with her grandmother,
and
her unseen mother
plays bit parts in operas and thinks she's important and not. They essentially say she's a bit of a crazy lady.
Yeah, but what I like about her is she was just like Maris from Frasier, or Norm Peterson's wife from Cheers. It's an invisible person that you never do see. So I kind of like when they hold to that, and you never do see them. Mrs. Wallowitz from Big Bang.
At what point did you realize that Gaston was going to be
the love interest?
The love interest for Gigi. Like where were you in the movie?
It was pretty far in, farther in than I thought. Like I was kind of like, well, she's going to end up with a love interest. I wonder when he's going to show up. And when he showed up, I thought, okay, he's playing something else.
He was there from the beginning. I just didn't think they were going to match him.
Yes, agreed.
He was the uncle figure to her, kind of thing. And it was. I was almost saddened when they did that, because she's 14 and he's 30, let's say. I don't know. And his uncle keeps saying, "Oh, go for the younger ones. Go for the younger ones. That's what you want, is a young girl." Even when he said, "Oh, it's Gigi," the uncle figured that out. He was all like proud of him going after Gigi. And didn't it feel a bit pedophilic?
So part of it, I went after I watched it, I went on to some of the reviews and stuff, and some people were saying, in this day and age, we shouldn't be watching trash like this, because it just takes women and puts them under the boot of the man, and it just, and yeah, pedophilia, and it's just like, it's like, I don't think that the old man didn't have anything like that in mind. I don't think, like, that's like, it was not promoting pedophilia. It was just the way it was done.
Is having sex with somebody who's under 16, then it is.
Well, okay, but that wasn't a problem back then. That's
right.
The thing.
Romeo and Juliet were 13 and 12 or something.
Yeah.
So it's that's what you did back then. Like in the 1600s, you started early. If you could start having babies, you started having babies.
Yeah. So, but to be honest, when I read the reviews that were just lambasting it about that, it's kind of like, well, I like it even more now. So just leave it alone. Right. Like I'm going, you know, not for you, not for me. You're not going to get that. I like the Aunt Alicia and the mother. That was kind of a fun sort of relationship, but it didn't show the true sort of angst of coming of age and finding someone in a certain way. It was kind of a frivolous thing, but it was fine to have a frivolous thing. It wouldn't have been the same thing. They had enough musical in it, but what were the things that I didn't like? Okay, you need to know about cigars because men smoke them. So I was just, so much of smoking was part of television in the 60s and 70s. So I've just been watching Planet of the Apes, and I see, you know, Charlton Heston. I've never seen it before. Probably shouldn't talk about it because I might pick it as a movie one day. But he on the rocket ship heading, you know, towards wherever he's going, he pulls out a cigar and smokes it on the rocket ship. And then they crash, and he has the little survival pack, and they have this tiny little thing that's going to, you know, hopefully be everything they need. But what does he pull out of the survivor pack? A cigar. And so you can chomp on it while he's on a horse or riding. It's like, what? Why on earth would they have a cigar on a spaceship? Like, I couldn't fathom. But it was so ingrained that that's what you do, and that's what you get to do. And the moment of triumph that a guy can use it, you know, put smoke on his cigar. Like, yeah. So they were teaching women how to handle cigars only because men smoke them, and you have to know that your husband is getting a good cigar.
I think this story was actually pretty good in terms of the coming of age, because she loved her uncle figure, and they had such a great time together, and they laughed, and then he started feeling there's something going on differently, because the aunt was starting to realize that something might be happening here, and all the aunt wants is her to marry into riches.
Yeah,
he's incredibly rich.
Yeah,
and like so rich that, you know, he doesn't buy a car. He says, bring whichever one you want. Like, I'll take the motor car, the one that goes 60 kilometers an hour, the fastest car in France and in America.
There you go. That's right.
Buy a faster car. And he goes, yeah, just bring whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so he has so much money, and he's liking her. He's realizing he's not had good time with love, and women treat him sort of badly and fool around on him like the Ava Gabor character did. And then he realizes he likes her. She realizes she likes him. Then she realizes that this means an adult relationship, and you're going to have sex with him. And it scares the crap out of her.
Yeah.
She's not liking this anymore. Then gets together with him and starts to accept the fact that that's what it is, and living from within that nature. And she's now becoming part of that world where the press is going to talk about you, and she's getting used to it. And then he wanted to back out of it. Right. And he realized, I've got to marry her. That's what I've got to do. It's not just the relationship. That's not what this is. If I'm gonna make this work, and she said it, she goes, I don't want to just be another girl, another story, and I can't do it. I know I'm going to get hurt too much. Very brilliant for a woman.
Yeah.
To not just see the riches. Reminded me of 9.5 Weeks, where the girl was strong enough not to be in the relationship. Right. Most women would fall for, because you can't not. He's an incredible guy. He's rich.
He's your way. that apartment that she lived in was red. Holy moly! It's like, are they're showing how poor they are because they can't afford paint or something? Because that was red. That was bright red.
Velvety red.
It's probably intentional for some reason, but I found it a little jarring. I appreciated the showing him walking up to the where they live, because from the inside it still looked like they were pretty wealthy. They're pretty well to do.
They have butlers. What are you talking about? They're
no,
rich.
yeah, but they're not living in the same kind of place he's living in. They
Oh
have to,
no, he's living in.
He's definitely a tier above. But it was sort of like we got to see how in some ways this is a I won't say desperate ploy, but you know, the family needs to move ahead. There's no men in there providing for anybody. There's four women.
No, they got jewels. She said, like, remember, that's an emerald.
Yes,
the
yes,
emerald.
yeah.
They obviously have money, and they got butlers teaching you how to eat the little birds. And
but they didn't have the same kind of. I think their situation was more precarious. I think they had the jewels and money, and I think they're slowly descending into.
Yeah, of course, but that's why they want the girl to marry into riches. That's why everything is built around. You're right. They don't have money. They just have money that was given to them by sheiks and sultans, and that's all they know. So it showed why they taught her to be that kind of woman, to be able to trap a man to give you all these things and continue this on.
Yeah, there's a couple of funny things when Leanne, the Ava Gabor character, they said she committed suicide, but she's still alive. So congratulations on your first suicide, is what Maurice Chevalier said, I think, to him. So like,
girl commit suicide,
attempt
suicide, but they just called it suicide.
Yeah, that's another term that's kind of used slightly different than now. Because suicide means completed, not attempted. And the other one was making love all the time. Well, they weren't making love to babies, and it's like that used to be a term, and that just meant, you know, kissy face and snuggling and stuff like that. So it was a term. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The term making love was it for, like, you could make love to a dog or a baby, or. No, you could. That was definitely a term.
The way he responded, when she goes, "Do you make love all the time?" He went, "The only people who make love all the time are liars." And so I thought that meant the sexual thing, because she was trying to come out of her little girly thing and ask questions to an adult. He's the adult in the room, and she asked him that question. I thought the making love just meant I don't think she knew even what it meant.
Right.
From a physical point of view, she just knew that was the adult thing you did. It might have even been the you're right. It might have been the extent of love between two individuals, is what she was saying.
Yeah.
But the way he said, if they're telling you they make love all the time, they're liars. But I don't know, Romeo and Juliet then would have made love all the time, because they were lovey-dovey all the time. Yeah. You could be lovey-dovey all the time. Clarence and Claire are well, they're not lovey-dovey, but they're.
That's the ones you pick, right? Yeah,
of course that's the ones I pick.
Yeah. I like how he took her to was it Monte Carlo, and so she got to see him, and then when she put on the dress, she kind of grew up, and I kind of like, they had some nice sort of moments to see, and then they're going to be together, and though they're not, but what I sort of missed is there was like she wasn't like pining after him in a way that I saw as typical. Like, you expected her to swoon a little, or him to linger a little more, and to have the heart fluttering thing, but I didn't have much of that. It was a little more a business arrangement for
her. Yeah, from her aunt's point of view, for sure, it was a business arrangement.
Yeah.
But she wanted to be in love and not have the adult stuff unless she had it forever. And I just thought that was a very empowering, strong position for her. And he realized that that's sort of what he wanted too.
Yeah. The one thing I did not like about the Gaston character is how he was always so bored. Like, I know he's supposed to say that for his character, but it's like, smack him around the head and tell him to get a life, you know, stop being bored. Make something of yourself, you Dumbo. That's what I wanted to do.
You're right, because he's got so much money and he's off to Monte Carlo and off the which house are you going to this weekend?
Yeah.
He's got so many different options. He's all like probably the richest person we've ever seen in a movie is how he was being portrayed.
Yeah.
A billionaire in today's terms, for sure.
Yeah. And now he can whine about being bored. And then like, that does not ingratiate me to his character, I guess is what I'm saying.
Bored was Tim Murray's
Chevalier.
It wasn't to say I'm bored because I'm better than the world. It was to say I'm bored because you're talking about finding women and making hay with them and never taking anything seriously. I know he went in to say that had to do with spring and the trees and I'm bored. I thought he was trying to say I'm bored of how you're looking at things, which is isn't life grand? Isn't life you got it by the balls and I'm doing it right? And he's going, no, that's boring. That's not what I want. I want something different than that. Because then he goes and sees Ava Gabor and that all falls apart. And he sort of liked that, if you notice, when he got into it. When he caught her with the other man and he's like hiding out and catching up. He got excited and he got like
not bored.
Some vigor in him, and I quite liked it. He wasn't bored, and his uncle was right and proved it to him. And I don't know. I think all in all, the movie started out, the first third of it was like a 3 for me. Then about the middle, it got to about a 5 or 6, and by the end, it was like an 8. I was loving it.
Yeah, no, I liked it at the end, and because I wanted to be wanting to sing all the songs over and over again, and I barely knew 2 of them.
I only knew the one, but that seems pedophilic to me. The thank heavens for little girls, and even in the songs he was talking about their shape, and it was. I mean, they answer it with, if it wasn't for little girls, what would little boys do?
Yeah.
But that was a little bit of a save. But I don't go back and watch, what's her name? The good ship, Lollipop. What's her name?
Judy Garland? No, Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple. Go to YouTube and type in Shirley Temple and watch her with older men.
Yeah.
And there's a 5 or 4 or 3-year-old girl jumping around, landing on laps, and guys doing this. Woo!
Very cringeworthy. Yes.
Oh, ridiculously. You sit there and go, they're making sexual innuendos about this 4-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And the little girl's not knowing what's going on.
Right.
But they're like saying, oh, go jump on them and go do this. And these guys are all making little, and you look back at it, you go, is that really what we were thinking? Or were we just, it's funny. I was driving by yesterday. There was an outdoor fountain thing in a park where all these kids are jumping around the fountain and other people are sitting there with kids. And I go, it'd be fun to be in that park. Little kids are playing and I could like play with them. And I went, I can't play with them.
It's like when Sheldon Cooper went to the bookstore and was talking about finding a friend, and it's like, no.
I get shot, but I'm going, but I would never in a million years do it. Like, and I used to play with your kids all the time. You know what I mean? Like that's what you do with young kids is you play with them, you have fun with them, and you can't do that anymore. I would seriously, I'd get shot if I went there and went, hey kids,
who wants to play with me?
Right. I got a ball, let's throw it.
But frisbee.
I thought it's something I could do, and then I realized it's not something I can do. That was really weird.
Yeah, it's an odd kind of sensation. What the part I liked about it is I wanted to see him fall in love with her, and I hardly saw it. But what I did see is when she played cards with him. And it was almost like I can get his, I'm bored because no one has fun with me and will challenge me. And so she was ready to play cards and have fun with him. And that part it's almost like he now respects her or whatever that is.
Remember when he said something about her dress was ugly and she got mad at him and he booted him out and he then realized, holy smokes, I don't think I should do that.
Yeah.
And so she was the only non-yes man
person. Yes,
even her aunts were yes, whatever. Oh, like
please marry her, please.
when he went away because that sort of first time when he brought her back at night, and he leaves, and then he comes back. The aunt goes, "Oh, you were so nice and so forgiving." And she had no idea what happened.
Right.
He could have come onto her. She could have slapped him.
Yeah.
And
it wouldn't have mattered.
You're the greatest guy ever for coming back and being forgiving to whatever she did.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of things that kind of society today, but I mean, this wasn't today. This wasn't even the 50s when it was done. It's trying to be the early 1900s, which is, close enough to the late 1800s.
So yeah, think about Downton Abbey, I think, is the kind of time frame. Downton Abbey was a little bit later, like 1910s.
The war
starting in the 1917, and they had a phone installed there, and here they also were having phones as a new piece of equipment was being considered. So I don't know. I expected next to nothing out of it, and I turned into a really cool review of Paris, and
it won a lot of Oscars.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, like Best Picture, Best Original Song, Best Picture, Best Director. So it won a bunch of Oscars. I didn't think it was that good. Like there had to have been something else, but
The Apartment is like 2 years later, and The Apartment to me is a much more textured movie, and got you into it, and compared to that, which is just bit of a song and dance and fun and frivolity.
I see when the things that I quite often will buck up or things will send it to a screeching halt is like they had an ice rink and this wasn't winter, and it's like, okay, in the 1900s, did they have an ice rink? How did they keep it cool in the middle of summer? Like that's making me now undo my brain to try and figure that out. So I'm not concentrating on the story anymore. It's like that could very well be that they had it. They spent $7 million on, trucking ice from somewhere.
Oh no, it would have been refrigeration.
Yeah, but how much? Like how practical was that?
I think reasonably practical. I remember them talking in World War II about making a aircraft carrier out of ice, because like think of an iceberg. You can't really blow up an iceberg even with a torpedo. It hits it and it makes a 10-foot hole in your iceberg.
Right.
And so they were talking about with this aircraft carrier, it would be like 10 times the size of the biggest aircraft carrier, and you can't even really sink it. And if you put a hole in it with a torpedo, it's just you're running it with refrigeration systems, and you can patch it up and it ices over and you're done. They actually made it out of a slurry of sawdust and ice, like 1/10 sawdust and 9/10 ice. So it actually had a much higher freezing point, like about 5 degrees Celsius. It would stay frozen until then. Yeah. And incredibly, they called it Pikecrete, not concrete. The guy invented it.
Yeah.
And they actually did a test of it in a lake in BC or Alberta for like 3 years. And they built a mini version of the boat, which would be still a humongous boat from, almost oil tank size. They built one, and they, in World War II, were able to keep it running for 3 years as an ice boat, like a Pikecrete. For 3 years, even through the summer, with a 1 horsepower engine.
Okay. Well, I thought it was too early to be doing that. I imagined like, did they get a Zamboni to come and flatten it out in the 1800s? Like, how does that work? So it just kind of took me away from the story to try and go, I wonder why that works.
I'm gonna type into ChatGPT and ask when the very first
public ice rink.
We're in Paris, yeah.
In the summer, so it's not.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, Maurice Chevalier, I only knew because he was on I Love Lucy. When Lucy and Ricky were traveling through Europe, and she met him, and he says, no, that's not me. And then it is him. And then so she thinks it's not him. And so she's telling people, oh, you don't even look like him. And he's not that great anyways. And it turns out it is him. And so one of Lucy's famous person thing.
The first artificial ice rinks in Paris that operate during the summer were established in the late 19th, early 20th centuries. The Palais de Glace, located in Champs-Élysées, opened in 1896 and was the first place where Parisians could enjoy ice skating in the summer.
Yeah.
The rink was equipped with a refrigeration technology that allowed it to maintain ice even during the warmer months.
Yeah. So, no, and I was sure it was. Like, I don't think that they would have done such made a mistake like that. But it took me away from and made me go, hey, I'm pretty sure. Like, wait, when is this?
To me, it took it as they're the aristocrats of the aristocrats. If they are now ice skating in summer, it's like bucking the whole.
Yeah, yeah.
Know, we don't even care about the weather. We can make it cold, right? Yeah. Like they have the big ski hills in Saudi Arabia. Have you ever heard that?
Right. Yes.
Indoors, and they make them humongous, and they put artificial snow in these buildings, and like you're just
in the desert.
Yeah, you're trying to say we can do it. Screw you, weather. Like, we're not going to listen.
We don't care. Yeah.
You imagine the people who have to buy winter coats in Saudi Arabia
just want to go skiing.
It's the only place you would need it in all of Saudi Arabia.
Right.
You see people in the building with winter coats on. You have to take them out to go home. They put it back on once you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. So one movie down, I'll have to pick another one. Try and find a connection. Maybe a musical or something like that.
I'm liking the idea of musicals more.
Well, part of it's like that's why I watched The Planet of the Apes. Is like with Gigi, I'd heard the name, but I didn't know anything about it really. So it's like, I probably should educate myself. And so Planet of the Apes, it's like I know the story. There's monkeys and you damn dirty ape.
Did you see the first one? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched the first one, the second one, and the third one now.
So there's a great line in The Simpsons where Homer Simpson's going to be a astronaut on the space shuttle. Like they said, let's pick an average man, and you can be an astronaut. And he's going, okay. And so he's standing there in a barbecue chef outfit for some reason, trying to show he's a common man or whatever. So they got a few people all picked, and he's the common man.
Okay.
So the reporter stands up and says, aren't you scared to go in space because of all the aliens or whatever you might run into?
Mm-hmm,
and Homer goes, I'll field this one. And he pushes him aside and gets to the podium. He's going to answer this question. He goes, no, I'm not scared of that. As long as they don't send us to that Planet of the Apes. He goes, wait a minute. Statue of Liberty. That was our planet.
Hey! Yeah.
And then he goes down onto his hands and knees like Charlton Heston, and he puts his hand on the ground, and he goes, damn you all to hell. And he takes his hand and he rubs it back and forth on the ground, and you hear and I love the little and then they put the curtain down and they're like going, well, we got to stop this because it's just going. But it's true. As long as you don't send us to that Planet of the Apes.
Yep. Yeah, no. So I picked up a lot of stuff that's like, oh, okay, it really was an advertisement for, don't make the bomb and don't fight with each other. That was really strong in the first one, and then the second one, same thing.
Didn't you take it as the way we treat indigenous people?
The third one is even more so. You have to go through the whole story, but they have it's the beginning of the ape uprising, and it was the child of the two. So the second one was Escape from the Planet of the Apes. So just as the Earth blew up in the future, the apes left the planet and landed on Earth, and now they're being hunted and tracked down, and she's pregnant and has a baby, and then the two of them are killed, and the baby is switched with the baby the baby monkey, and because they could talk and the other ones can't. So the third one is the baby monkey has grown up and is now going to lead the other apes on this sort of uprising. And the guy who raised the baby monkey was Ricardo Montalban. It's just, some of it's kind of like you're going, you stop for a minute. But yeah, it was a big morality tale in a lot of ways. And it was a little heavy handed, but.
There's a great, another scene in The Simpsons where they make a mockery of Planet of the Apes. It's Planet of the Apes, the musical.
Oh dear.
And seriously, they come out and they're dancing and stuff. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. You'll know the song when you hear it, like what they're trying to mimic. And he comes out and he says his little line and it's all rhyming.
Yeah.
And it's just, and you sit there and you shudder with, what a terrible musical this is. But it's what they decided. There's a lot of references to a lot of pop culture.
Yeah, and I like being I like getting it. So I always knew the line, "You damn dirty ape, get your hands off me." And it's like, okay, well that was just after he finally got his voice back because they had hurt him in the neck. And so so it's, now I know some of the backstory of it. So I really appreciate sort of knowing that. But I mean, how many movies do you want to slog through? And I think that the third one I was watching in the percent of not Rotten Tomatoes, but the other one, there's a percentage of review. Right. It was like 36% of the people thought it was a good movie. So it's like, okay. No, one of the sequels, the second one.
Right. Oh, okay.
And they were kind of like, yeah. Yeah, because it was okay. So the first one was Planet of the Apes. The second one is the Underground.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, Beneath. And then the third one was Escape From. And now the fourth one is 20 years later. So, but.
Well, there's a bunch of new ones since then, right?
Yeah, and I think I might go and see if did they do a better job. But maybe I should pick that though. I'm watching them all and we're talking about it. So it's like, okay.
Well, you can link it with the Planet of the Apes musical in The Simpsons.
Pick a line from that. Yeah. Oh, sounds good. So next month we'll see. I'll have a couple of choices for you and we'll watch something else.
And next month's going to be a tricky one because I'll be in Europe when.
Well, we can do it earlier.
The earlier is I'm leaving like on the 16th of June.
I can do it anytime, Jeff. I'm good with
I can
that.
do it even from Europe. I mean, that's not going to be a problem. It'd be sort of fun to do that and can watch it from there. Oh, I should show you this thing I got. I can't wait to show you actually in real life.
Glasses that are.
Can you see inside there?
Yeah, there's glasses in the glasses.
There's little, so those are projection screens. You put it on and you see about 100-inch TV about 7-8 feet away from you.
Okay, that's what Penn Jillette was talking about on his podcast, I think.
Yeah, it might have.
What's it called? What's it called?
This one's called X-Reel. There's about 3 different types out there. And then Apple has.
But what's the name of the not technology, but the thing it is? It's not virtual reality. It's something else. It's
augmented reality.
Augmented reality. Yeah. Yes.
I have some virtual reality glasses too. But so this is, you can put them on, you can actually see right through them. And I could actually see you. And even though, and I'm sort of adjusting something to allow me to see through it. But I can also put the glasses on the chroma key on the glasses to darken it, and then you don't see anything but the TV in a dark room. But it's like really good. Just hook it up to your phone from the wire from the back into your phone, put MB on, go to whatever you want.
You can watch TV on the plane or whatever. Yeah,
it's essentially for the plane, and it's so you don't have to bug anybody else. The speaker's built into it. They sort of aim right down at your ear.
Like the bone conducting headphones.
Not quite as good as the bone conducting. But you could put the bone conducting on and then use the Bluetooth from your phone and listen to it that way. So like you could listen to the audio really well. But I've laid back in bed and just put them on and you're just looking up. It's a bit unnerving.
Yeah, to get used to.
Where you're laying backwards and watching something. You're used to sitting up, laying down and looking at the ceiling. I remember when I was younger, I used to project something on the ceiling and then I'd lay back in bed and look up, and it was awful. Like you had headaches or you get nauseous. You're not doing that when you're sleeping. So I got the same little bit of a problem. But if I'm sitting up, put them on.
Right.
It looks really, really good. Like it looks like a high def screen, like a really good high def screen.
Cool.
So this is a way of you getting the 100-inch TV I want you to have without having to get a 100-inch TV. Put it on and watch a movie while you're walking.
No, I wouldn't want to do that. I want to pay attention to where I'm walking. Oh
no, you can actually tell the movie, play in a little corner in the bottom corner, and then I could still see through it.
Yeah, no. Maybe if I was walking for exercise, like if I got on a treadmill, I could see doing that. But my walking is intentional about observing what's around me. And
I know, I'm teasing you. I don't expect you to watch a movie when you're walking. It would sort of be dangerous on this. When you're driving, that's better.
Driving, it would be fine because it's right in front of you. You don't even have to turn your head. Like it's not like that. The dumb idea of having it on the screen over there on the dashboard. That's crazy. Right in your glasses. It's like safe as anything.
That's right.
Oozing sarcasm here.
You get pulled over by a cop. No, these aren't distracting me at all. Oh, I hope she's.
Well, I have big glasses that I put on over my glasses. It looks just a little bit like that. So. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. So we'll see you next month and take care.
Okay. Be good. Oh, say hi to Stacy.
Oh, hi, Stacy. And there's no berberine on our commercial. So
I got a new watch because my other one, the battery all of a sudden was dying. It would go 100% charge, it would go down to 80%.
I had that with this. It normally the charge lasts for like a week almost.
Right.
And it was lasting almost a day and it was charging right down. And so I went on to the app and it turns out it hadn't logged in 8 days or 6 days or whatever it was. So it was like constantly searching for something. I redid that and it's like, oh, now the battery lasts forever. So it's like, I thought I was going to have to get a new. It's funny how with the Fitbit, it's kind of like, I have to know how many steps I'm taking. And it's like, no, you don't. It's like, yeah, I kind of want to go like run out and buy one.
I had one, the Charge, the smaller version of this, and the screen started going crackly and having the wrong date on it and such. So I called them up. They just turned it off, that serial number of your thing. So even if you got it to work, you couldn't use it, and sent me a new one. And that new one didn't last very long. It maybe lasted me a year. And then all of a sudden, very quickly, the battery just started it would go down to about from 100% to 60%. And 10 minutes ago, 60%. It's not working anymore. It's dead.
Yeah.
So it would like die incredibly quickly after a while. So I went and got this. It wasn't too much at Costco. And then I quickly ordered some more bands for it because I like that multicolor band.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine used to have the two little hold the strappy down, and one of them broke off, and it's like, oh, I only have one now. I'm down to one.
Well, you can go to AliExpress and buy a band for your thing for
sure. If I did that on soon as I do that, it would die somehow else, and then I have all these bands that I don't know what to do with.
Yeah, but you only spent $6. It's not a big box of all the bands.
Well, it would be my lazy butt who doesn't like ordering on stuff online.
Well, get me to order and I'll have it sent to you.
Yeah, whatever. We're good.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Talk to you.
Yeah, and talk to everyone else, all of our fans. Stacy.
Okay.
Bye.